Hello. Sorry. Sorry. Excuse me. Uh, um. Uh. Hello, YouTube subscribers. Today or tonight, whenever you're watching us, I am doing my my first my first Disney movie review, and if you guys couldn't tell by the title and what's in my fucking hand. It's gonna be a review on the live action Peter Pan movie. Peter Pan and Wendy. Um Yesterday, if you guys watched my horror movie review yesterday on the Pope's Exorcist, then you guys would already know today, which is Friday, I was gonna do a review on Peter Pan and Wendy and the Evil Dead Rise movies. And I said I know I would do a review on Friday, most definitely, but I didn't know when I would do the movie review for Peter Pan and Wendy. But I'm just gonna go ahead and post it right now. I know I said I didn't like doing 2 videos in one day, but most of the time I do. And honestly, yeah, I really don't give a shit. I'm in a good mood right now, so I'm just gonna post 2 of the movie reviews in one day. Um, so Peter Pan and Wendy. Try to do a review on the trailer, but the time when I did is during the time that Disney contacted YouTube and said if there's any YouTubers that does reviews on their trailer and if they're just negative throughout their review of the trailer, block it. Don't even allow it to be out there. And when I did, I looked and I saw that I wasn't getting any viewers on the video, and I came across the next day when I did that YouTube got contacted by Disney and yada yada yada. So did I actually expect it to like this film? When I did the review for the trailer, I basically did that whole riot throughout the trailer, explaining this, why I don't explain this, explain that, why I don't like, um what I really don't like, and that I don't see me liking the movie at all. Yeah. I did not expect it. I just got done watching the movie and I did not expect actually liking it. Honestly, I cannot believe these words are coming out of my fucking mouth. Ugh. I actually liked the film. I think, honestly, personally, it would not done that bad in theaters. I really don't. If it went to theaters, honestly, I personally think if it did go directly to the theaters and not just on Disney Plus, would I've gone and see it? No. Would I've rated for it to come on Redbox? Yes. But since they just dropped on Disney Plus because Disney really don't care. All they care about is cash and grab, money, money, money. They really don't care about what fans really truly want, what fans truly want to see. But Pixar kind of does a little bit. Pixar is almost there where Disney is with greedy. Um, but I truly feel like this movie, this live action Disney remake, Peter Pan and Wendy, was not that terrible. Was not that bad. And I will explain why. If you guys have Disney Plus, I know you guys will have issues because color swapped and all that. I totally get that. I understand that. Honestly, as a Disney fan myself, I've actually watched every Disney remake there ever is. Well, except Mary Poppins Return. And yes, even though it says Return, I count that as a remake because they changed the bitch. Because Disney had an issue because Mary Poppins don't age. She stays young. Yeah. Fucking big whoop. That bitch, the original bitch, made you money. Because she actually pulled off the character Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins Return did not. Why? Because there were some people who actually confirmed to them they felt like it was a remake because they changed the bitch. Now, the actress they got to play Mary Poppins and Mary Poppins Returns, yes. I don't mind her. I really don't in some of her movies. But for Disney, it was such easy to get that actress back because that actress did a movie before Mary Poppins Returns, which was Into the Woods. She played the baker's wife. But anyway, do I like most of the Disney remakes? Honestly, back in 2010, I was young, naive, still a Disney fan trying to find my favorite Disney, like other favorite Disney characters, like on the side of Pirates of the Caribbean because I'm a big Pirates fan. Um, um, so when Alice in Wonderland came out, I was young. My sister did not want to go because of the actual meaning behind Alice in Wonderland, even though some people don't want to believe the actual meaning. It's there, printed black and white. Can't really ignore it. But Johnny Depp was the Mad Hatter. I love Johnny Depp. I was a fan of Johnny Depp. Still am. That's why That's why I like every Pirates of the Caribbean movie, even though there's something negative about each movie. Johnny Depp is in it, and that's why I like about the films because he always returns. So yes, I wanted to go see it because he played the Mad Hatter. I loved the movie because not because I knew at the time it was a remake or anything. I wasn't so depth into movies as I am today, but because the way he acted as the Mad Hatter was phenomenal. It was awesome. He brought life to the Mad Hatter than the cartoon ever did. Now, when I was through the Looking Glass, I saw that too. Not in theaters because I had my dad drag me. Well, not really me. I dragged my dad back in 2010 when the first one came out. To take me to go see it. He wasn't happy about it, but the only thing he knew, the one reason why I wanted to go see it was Johnny Depp. So he actually sat there, even though he fell asleep. But I saw the second one. I didn't think it was too bad. I thought it was. I thought it. I with the one thing I will say, the live action Disney remakes movies uh, uh, has one thing in common. There's a learning lesson that's just that Disney is trying to throw at you as best as they can, and most time it does not get there. The first two Alice in Wonderland movies, yes, it does. The first one, okay, I haven't watched it for a long time, so I kind of forgot what it was. The second one, I can't remember. It's about letting go the past. The past doesn't define you. You define yourself. And even though there's some things about the past we don't want to let go, sometimes we just have to let them go. Which they kind of repeated in Peter Pan and Wendy, but I'll get to that. The Lion King I really didn't like. I had so many issues with Lion King. Beauty and the Beast, I didn't mind. I actually liked it. Cinderella I liked. Mulan I liked. Trying to think of every single one. I didn't see Pete's Dragon. I'm not a fan of Pete's Dragon. My sister is. So so far that's the only live actions I can think on the top of my head. But a live action take on Moana, I'm not happy about it. I'm not shocked that it came from The Rock, that it was The Rock's idea, but we're getting it. I mean, at some point we would have, but I was expecting like years on, later on, not like today. Even though it wasn't Disney's idea, even though they're going along with it. And it was The Rock's idea because he's too of a baby to go back to the Fast and Furious franchise. And he knows he's still making money off of the WWE or WWA, however you're saying it now these days. Anyway, Peter Pan and Wendy. Do I like the film? Yes, shockingly. Once again, I cannot believe that's coming out of my mouth. I did like the film. Shockingly. My issues with the film. Okay, first of all, the only reason why I actually came back around to watch the film is because of Jude Law. Jude Law, I actually like him as an actor. Not trying to be mean here. I liked him in Spy. I liked him in, even though he was kind of a dick in that, the character he played, not really the actor himself. I liked Fantastic Beasts. I thought he did a very good job as a young Dumbledore, Albus Dumbledore. I wish. I know how fans reacted to those films, and I plan in my reviews to explain why I feel like they should go back to those films and finish out the story plot that they started. But all I will say is that he played a very good, and I liked him as a young Albus Dumbledore. So seeing him as Captain Hook in the trailer, see who they cast as Captain Hook, I was excited. That's what brought me back around of actually wanting to see Peter Pan and Wendy, to see how he acted as Captain James Jimmy Hook. Honestly, I could see his face. This was my problem throughout the whole damn movie. I've seen every generation. Oh no, okay, I take that back. Not every generation. I've seen a few. generations of each Captain Hook. There's only one I had to say pulled off perfectly if they ever got him back. If Disney got him back to play in the remake, Captain Hook would have been the actor that played Draco Malfoy's father in the Harry Potter movie series. I know he played Captain Hook once, but that was not in a Disney movie, Peter Pan. That was another movie studio's Peter Pan. And he played Captain Hook perfectly. A wonderful Captain Hook. And honestly, seeing Jude Law playing Captain Hook, I could see his face under all that fucking makeup. I could tell it's Jude Law. And his voice, I could tell it's his voice most of the time. But but the other times when he's talking under the makeup, I actually lost sight, and thought I was rewatching the actor that played Draco Malfoy's father back into the role, back into in a new version of the costume of Captain Hook, and Disney's form of their version of the remake. And I'm like, okay, which actor am I fucking watching to play Captain Hook? Am I watching Jude Law, or am I watching the actor that played Draco Malfoy's father? And I'm not trying to dub down Jude Law's acting on Captain Hook. It's just the way he acted for Captain Hook. It was so similar at times. At times, it was so similar and so sad because I thought he could bring something new to the role, which he did, but other times he didn't, and it felt so similar to the actor that played Draco Malfoy's dad. And yes. Other than that, one of the things I did like about Peter Pan and Wendy was Captain Hook. Jude Law's Captain Hook. The other times was positive moments, because that's when he brought something new to the table for Captain Hook. Something I actually wanted to put on the table for Captain Hook. Not as close of dark as I actually thought Disney would not go, but Disney actually went kind of dark with this. Which Jude Law in a review said that Captain Hook and Peter Pan in the movie, at some points in the movie, will explain their backstory between each other, their issues of why they hate each other. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Something I actually wanted to put front and center because I like to write, and honestly, I've been writing fairy tales through my whole entire fucking life, and Peter Pan is one of them. And honestly, that's what I wrote, put front and center myself. So I'm like, okay, so this director has the same mind as me. While I'm hearing Captain Hook explaining his issues with Peter Pan at some points of each part of the movie, I actually relate. I actually felt bad for Captain Hook. He wasn't just a villain. He was a human feeling villain. He wasn't just there to fill the gap of a villain. No. He was there to fill a lot more than just a gap of a villain. He filled a full boot, pirate boot, no, not a pun intended, to bring Captain Hook a more human type side, which honestly explained that Captain Hook was a lost boy. Peter Pan brought him because Peter Pan started feeling lonely, wanted an actual friend. Other than the Lost Boys, which actually is what hurt me the most at the very end. So Peter Pan heard one boy, one fateful night, that he never wanted to grow up. And that's actually why he actually gets each kid, because once he hears the words, I never want to grow up, that's when he breaks in, like Santa Claus do, and says, come with me, I can set you free, and you will never have to grow up. Well, after all the fun days and nights that James, Huck, and Peter Pan had, there was one night where he actually went to Pan and said, he would actually like see his mother again. And by that, Peter Pan, as a young boy, not taking it well, he thought he would lose his friend completely. Well, Peter Pan allowed Captain Hook to leave to look for his mom. He couldn't find her. So he came back. Well, he didn't really fly away. The way he explained it was he actually he actually tried to go over sea, the Neverland Sea, the fairy tale land of the sea, to get back to his mom, which I kind of figured, of course he won't. Of course he wouldn't. Because it's the fairy tale part that's not really connected to the real world. That's why Peter Pan flies. That's why he says, go to this star, and so on. And when he said he got lost at sea trying to get back to his mom, that's when he came by the pirates. So clearly, and that's how he met Smee, because Smee and the rest of the pirates raised him as their own, and he grew up to be their captain. And he was just so angry at Peter for rejecting him. Throw him out, throw him away, cast him away from Neverland, hurting Hook terribly, where he wanted revenge. That's where the revenge started, and that's why he came. That's why he heads back to Peter to kill Peter, because he felt like, once again, he lost another home, a real true friend. And then that's where Pan takes his hand, he replaces it with the Hook, which the Hook, okay, when I first saw in the trailer, I wasn't a fan of the way the Hook was, but I actually liked it when I watched the film, because when I saw more and more of the Hook and more of the design of it, that helps explains the story, the backstory between Hook, because and Peter, because the Hook, it's not like this. But I do like this design of the Hook. When I think of Captain Hook, I think of this design. But when I first saw the Hook in the trailer, I thought of Candyman. Like Captain Hook jumped into the Candyman franchise, stole Candyman's hook, slapped it on, jumped back into his own franchise, and start using it. No, but it's like a straight up, and then curve, like a candy cane, straight up and curve. With this like like complete straight with this curve. And I thought it helps to explain his story while he's explaining it, because Peter Pan and Hook had a great straight story, and then their path curve off, and it just bends back into place of where their journey took them overall, which made the ending a little more harder. Um, Peter Pan overall didn't explain completely when Wendy asked, because when Peter Pan brought James to Neverland, they actually shared a room. They played in that room like brothers. They became more than best friends. They became brothers. And which that's also the feeling of a gut punch of what the story told between the two. Something that I actually never thought of them becoming other than just best friends. Um, so when Wendy said she never wanted to grow up, he brought her. Once again, he never meant to bring her brothers, but they just tagged along. Most parts in the trailer we do not see at all, but when Wendy asked Peter why does he fights James Hook, he tries to get around the angle like every conflict, and he tells her part of the truth in one scene, but not the complete truth, until Hook actually fills in that gap. And the Lost Boys, okay, yes. I get it. Disney doesn't want to be sexist. They want to show feminism, girl power, yeah. And I get the whole meaning of the Lost Boys is meaning no girls. Except Wendy. When she first originally came, she was the first lost girl. Literally, girl. No boy. She didn't get the boy title. She got the girl title. Why? Because she was an actual girl. When they introduced the Lost Boys, this is what I caught. Okay, they were not worried about race or anything, because they want to show that they're not racist either. Which I get it. Peter Pan was race swapped. That's something I'm not letting go, even though I liked the film. I'm not letting that go. I still hate how they race swapped Pan, Tinkerbell, and basically all the Lost Boys were white in the cartoon. But I will admit, even though they race swapped a few characters, their acting did not make me changed my mind on still hating that idea. Their acting were good. The actor they got to play Peter Pan, I actually liked. Wendy was good. John, Michael, they could have been better. Tinkerbell was good. Tiger Lily, not trying to be mean to the actress. I get it. She was just there for both reasons. And this is honestly the first reason I caught in the very beginning when Wendy and her first met. Second part is when I actually caught when Wendy and her said goodbye. For the first time. But not permanent until the ending. Well, okay, which Tiger Lily was only there to help Wendy realize she's grown up. There's no way to get around that. To help her grow up. That and to help push the issue of, okay, people love Peter Pan and Wendy. We had Tiger Lily. She was a Indian. So let's do a live action Pocahontas. And I'm like, well, okay, there was a third, but that was only because to help Peter Pan to get well, because Captain Hook actually found Peter Pan's hideout, I guess he does in every generations, except Robin Williams version, but that's because he already knew. That's because that Captain Hook already knew and already tried. He only found this Captain Hook only found the hideout and was only able to hurt Peter Pan and nearly killed Peter Pan if Neverland's version of Pocahontas did not find him. And technically, she would not even knew if Peter Pan's shadow didn't get her. Which you would think if they're connected, his shadow would be hurt. But, Wendy was saying the lost children, back to the lost kids, by the way. My point I was getting at was, okay, I get it. Disney does not want to show that they're sexist. Many of Lost Boys, no girls. Wendy was the first lost girl. She still not had the boy title. She actually had girl. But they kept the Lost Boy name. I get they were trying to stay original as possible, but not too original. I just wish they would have changed the Lost Boy title to Lost Children. And Peter Pan wasn't just saving and taking boys. I'm saying saving, because this is the Disney version. And even though there are actual real dark versions, not just one, different versions of a dark Peter Pan. And in those dark versions, he quotes saving them when he really doesn't. And in those dark versions of Neverland, you don't actually stay as a kid, you actually still grow up. Which I hated in the live action version. They still kept that, but I actually liked it how they explained when Captain Hook left and how he just sailed the sea. That's how he grew up and shit. But anyway, if he was not just saving boys and he also saved slash took girls as well, he should have changed from lost boys to lost children. Lost children. Would have been better. But they kept the Lost Boys name. Now, but, Wendy, I typically don't know for sure how to basically describe everybody else except Wendy grows up. No matter what, she grows up. And in the beginning of the movie, you kind of hate her, but you kind of understand it because it's reality. It's actually based on what a real teenage bitch would do. Basically, yes, in every generation, Wendy always loved her brothers. Her brothers was the only thing she cared about. Except in this version. In the beginning, she wants to stay as a child. She actually wants to stay and have fun. At home. But when she comes back to reality, she becomes a typical teenager bitch of a sister where she flipped the switch from actually loving sister playing to rebel teenager sister hating her brothers, wants nothing to do with them, still shares the same room. So she has like these, they show you that she has like curtains up so she could have privacy. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's realistic, but that's something I kind of hated about my sister. Except we had our own different rooms. So she didn't have to worry about privacy. So, but when she came back around and said she never want to grow up, got to Neverland, that's when it did the same pattern. Don't want to grow up, goes to Neverland, Peter main attention was just to take Wendy, not really John and Michael, but they just came along. Like I said, John and Michael wasn't really that important to the story. And when they first got to Neverland, that's when it actually hit Wendy when she remembered her mother telling her, which they actually put in the movie before they actually got to Neverland, which I know she remembered, that her brothers look up to her. She has to be nicer. She has to be more actually loving the way she is when she plays with them, when she wants to be free from responsibilities. And she's like, fuck my brother. She actually doesn't say fuck, but she's like, who cares about my brothers? My brothers are useless. When she gets to Neverland, John, Michael, where are you? Peter Pan. Feminism. Now you care about your brothers. Now you're worried about your brothers. Reality hits you, bitch. You actually do care. You actually want to grow up. Now, throughout this movie, the message is, yes, you may hate your mother and father right there and then. You may hate growing up. But there are perks of having a mother, on having a father, on having a life from a kid journey to a adult journey. At times you will hate it. At ti- and this is actually what I lost. What each generation Peter Pan story lost went along the way, and the one thing that I actually lost myself to look into when each generation Peter Pan came into play in my life, which is, unless it's an origin story about Peter Pan himself, then I don't have to worry about that part. Is when it comes to when you got Wendy as your main character on the side of Peter Pan and Captain Hook, is you gotta look for that aspect of the journey of the message of it's okay to grow up. It's okay to be afraid to grow up. It's okay to be afraid to make mistakes. But you need those mistakes. You need that fear. You don't need to, you need that journey to grow up. That you don't want to stay as a child forever. There's actually positive moments when you're a adult. It may suck. It may not be that great, but there are positive moments, like having parents. Okay, if you're adopted and you have adopted parents to adopt you, that it still holds the same meaning. That you have a mom, love your mom. Yes, most time you guys will get into fights, same as your father. You have a father. Sometimes you guys will get in fights, but there will be days where you guys will enjoy each other, enjoy being around each other. And it's like, and that's the message it basically said. And also on the side of that message, there was a second message. Remember where you came from, which is also going to be the message in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. But it's not going to be hard to look for. But in Peter Pan and Wendy, they did exactly what Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is doing. Remember where you're coming from. Remember where you came from. Captain Hook, even though he grew up, and but here's the thing: he never properly grew up. He never knew what it felt to. After he lost the friend slash brother he had, love he had. After he lost the mother love he grew dark, revengeful, and it corrupted him to be the villain we know him as today. So it's like, so he became blind, and he became heartless. So when and so did Peter Pan. Peter Pan at the end of the movie, uh, Wendy helped Captain Hook and Peter Pan remember where they came from. Remember how it felt to have a friend, to have a brother, to have a sister, to have a mother to have a father that loves you deeply, carefully. And as Peter Pan's displayed at the very end, that basically why he never came, well, he came home, but he never permanently came home, because when a few times when he came back, he didn't see his mom. And the house he was living in was Wendy's, John's, and Michael's house. Because in the movie they showed he wrote on their chimney that his name, and that was his house. So, knowing that they actually give them a perfect origin story was great. Uh, uh, than they did in the cartoon and a little bit from the past movies from each generation was actually better than um and the ending fight between Peter and Huck. I actually liked it because even though they were acting like kids, and the one thing about Huck, even though his Huck looked like it was like 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 after Hook lost his hand, you could tell he handmade it because throughout the movie he grabs it and bends it as hard as he could, even though he knows he can't, because it's basically, even though it looks rusty and worn out, it technically isn't. It still got that strength, that hard metal strength, and he knows he can't, he's not building it. I feel like he built it his own. That's why I feel like he meant to build it the way it looks in the movie. It was where it looks perfectly straight up, where where he remembered his mom, and his hug is supposed to remind him that his journey is his hug's supposed to remind him his journey of where he came from, how he got here, and where he is at today. And yet he remembered, he forgot that meaning until after the fight between him and Peter Pan at the very end, including the sword he's using to fight Peter Pan. It's a size for a kid, which is something that he had when he was with Peter Pan. So, or I'm guessing he had when he was with Peter Pan, or when he got it, or he got it when he was with the pirates. He was using the same sword as he was using when he was a kid, so he never changed from a kid side sword, or from a adult size sword. So the now uh the only thing that actually also got to me is when Peter said what he learned from Wendy is that, yes, he was a terrible friend. He should have been more understanding. A bigger friend would apologize. And that he was sorry. And as Huck soldiered around into his hate, into his darkness, into his rage, he didn't see that. He didn't see that Pan is finally apologizing, and including for Huck to still have a kid mind. Throughout the movie, you see Huck has a adult body, but inside is a kid's mind that's still trying to process and still trying to get there. And that kid's rage, that rage of a kid, that revenge of a kid, that anger of a kid, all the darkness of a kid overtook. And yet when Peter Pan was still trying to save him after he apologized and after Hug still tried to kill him, when Hug was about to fall, Pan grabbed the hook and he said happy thoughts. Well, after basically what I just said, even though he still has a kid's mind, but that kid's mind was so corrupt with darkness, revenge, hate, he could not think of a happy thought ever. because it was all washed away after Pan kicked him out of Neverland. And after he realized he could never go back to his mom. So he lost all his happy thoughts. And his most of the parts I was holding the hook to his Captain Hook's wrist slide off, and he basically found the water, which when Pan flew down and all the Lost Boys was trying to comfort him, saying that we're sorry that you lost a friend, that part kind of hurt me a lot more, because after learning bits and pieces of what Huck and Pan went through, not just as best friends, but as brothers, it was, you could tell he cared more for Huck. He felt more bad for losing Huck than he actually did for the Lost Boys. And I truly feel like the Lost Boys knew that for sure, that they, even though they knew how to comfort him, or at least the best way they could, they actually knew he loved Huck more than he did them as family. So, but after Peter drops the kids, once again, with Wendy, John, and Michael, and after Wendy, John, and Michael, parents take the kids in, welcome them in, they actually see, like in the cartoon, Peter Pan, the ship, fly off, back to Neverland, and when Peter and Tinkerbell gets back to Neverland, Peter actually sees Hook is still alive, and he goes down and gets Hook. And obviously they're friends again. Which Smee is also still alive. Which I know Hook was hoping that Smee would have died. Do I like? Now, also, another thing that they displayed throughout the movie is that Wendy pointed out, that basically Peter Pan doesn't completely listen what Tinkerbell is fully saying, and what she's actually saying, like a normal man would. Like, a woman would say one thing, the guy totally another. Oh, she's just saying that I'm awesome. No, that's not what she's totally saying at all. She's saying you're a piece of shit. And Wendy understood that like every other woman would. I mean, that's why women sticks together, because they listen to each other. That, and Tinkerbell whispers in her ear, "Thank you for actually listening to me. Thank you for finally hearing me." Because Wendy was the only person, instead of Tinkerbell actually hating her completely throughout the movie, she was more Wendy's friend than anything. And that's why she thanks Wendy for hearing her, to take the time and actually hear her, because she felt like Peter never heard her completely. Even though he knows he can hear her, he's just all high and mighty. basically as Captain Hook is. That's why they became so close friends, became brothers. Which brings me to my final point, which it's very, very rare for me to say this, just like how it's very, very rare for me to say it. I like remakes. How I liked it, this film, even though I knew it was a remake, a cash and grab remake. Even, I would like not to see a sequel, because honestly, I don't see this being a sequel. I don't see how it could get a sequel, except they could do, like, children. Captain Hook has a kid. Somehow. He met a bitch. She's a redhead. My friend. My best man, Peter Pan. I have a kid. And yeah. And they could name that kid Harry Hook, directly from the actual son of Captain Hook from Descendants, which Disney actually from one of the original movies. Or they could reference one of their other original show, one of the original shows that they did on ABC, Once Upon a Time. Killian Hook. So, that could be a sequel, but I see more better option of doing it a prequel. It's very rare for me to also offer a requel. I think it would have been great, even though, yeah, here and there we heard, not see, heard Peter and James Hook's backstory. How they met, where they came from, and how they got where they are today. We heard, but not saw. And honestly, I think it, and honestly, if I was on Disney's board, one of board members right now, I'd be like, you know what? Peter Pan and Wendy, one person said, and Peter Pan and Wendy, he said, even though they talked about their backstory, where they came from, how they got there, where they are today, we should do a prequel. Actually show them everything that we basically displayed in that movie. Yeah! And even if they didn't watch my review, and maybe other people's reviews, if some other people actually find my point of view logical and a great idea, I'm pretty sure Disney will think of it anyway. So, because any possible moment they will take to do a sequel, another cash and grab sequel or requel to their live action remake, they will take it. So, shit, there was something I also wanted to say, but I forgot. I think it was about Captain Hook too. Anyway, if you guys liked this review, hit that like button. If you guys did not like this video, because I liked it, another Disney remake, and by that extent, you guys can comment down below. That makes me not a true Disney fan. I'm sorry, either the way, I am a Disney fan. Maybe not a true one, because I like most of the remakes, but you know what? That's my opinion. You have yours. I just want to know your opinion. So hit that like button if you like this movie and like my review and videos and shit, hit that dislike button if you didn't like about this movie, didn't like my review, don't like any of my videos, whatever. Leave a comment down below what you thought about this movie. What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? Than what's already displayed. Other than what's already displayed. What other didn't you like about it? What was your favorite scene, if you even have one? I don't even know if I have one. What's your favorite what's your favorite line? Because I don't know if I even have one. So if you're a old subscriber, if you already subscribed to me and been following me, welcome back. If you're a new person just coming across and saw one of my videos, please subscribe. Please follow me. I welcome all new and old subscribers with open arms. Please like or dislike, and please leave a comment. Have a nice day or night whenever you're watching us. Peace.